Hello guys, how are you today? As already mentioned in our email, today we're going to cover a different topic, not as usual about the optimizer, but for LanderLab, which is our newest product, and it takes care of building and hosting landing pages, and it's coupled with a visual builder that makes things even easier for anyone who wants to use landing pages to promote their products. And because it involves some technical stuff, and it involves some manual interaction with the landing pages, especially if you're getting the landing pages or you're sourcing the landing pages from spy tools, it is really important for you to clean out the landing pages properly and avoid any sneaky redirects or any traffic loss from your campaigns. Also, one of the main reasons that the landing pages are so important are to begin with, or I would say two are the main ones. Like the first one is the power it has on selling your offer better, like warming up the visitor and preparing them to take action on the offer page, as well as increasing their desire to purchase or to buy a product or to take action on an offer page, whether it is a lead generation offer or an e-commerce offer. It could be um, a digital product or whatever you're promoting. So always use landing pages because it's better in terms of conversion rate rather than direct linking your offers. Also, one other reason which is quite important is the power landing page offers you to optimize your campaigns. Now, we all know that when running on Facebook, we tend to become pretty lazy in terms of campaign optimization, because most of the optimization is done by the Facebook algorithm. So if the campaign works, if not, there's not much you can do in terms of blocking publishers and optimizing or fine tuning the traffic where it's coming from. So in this situation, I would say it's quite important, especially if you're running native traffic, to use well tested landing pages and to make sure that your traffic is flowing correctly. Now, in today's webinar, as mentioned already, we're going to do a live landing page cleaning. Also, before moving to the live session or to the live example, I would like to go pretty quickly on a few slides here that might be helpful to someone who's not familiar with coding or who's not taking care of their landing pages on its own. So to start with, I would say that it's pretty important to know the structure of the landing page. Like affiliates usually work with HTML landing pages because they are lightweight, require no server-side processing, and also it's easier and more simple for them to be edited without having to know PHP or any other programming language. But knowing the HTML structure would be more than enough. So we have two main parts of the landing page, which is the head section and the body section. The head section is where we put all our tracking pixels, like Facebook pixels, Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, or any other JavaScript pixel that is that we use to track our visits in case we're working with such trackers. And also in the head section, we also link every JavaScript which is important or is substantial to how the landing page renders, as well as we link all our custom style sheet files, cascade style sheet files, where we specify how our landing page looks. Now, by no means I'm not a developer, but this is my experience on working with landing pages comes from the need of doing and taking care of landing pages on my own for my own campaigns when I used to run them. So it all comes with experience. So even if things would look a bit messy at the beginning, or it would be hard to get familiar with those, it's something that you can easily get familiar with. You can get familiar with it by working with various landing pages. Also, without forgetting to mention, in the body section, we will also see that many landing pages, or we may often encounter some landing pages that have some JavaScripts and some other codes snippets that may be malicious. So for that matter, we would need to go over the full code of the landing page and make sure that we have no presence of external codes or scripts that may jeopardize or risk our traffic going out of our funnel. So a few examples regarding various pixels, like here for anyone who hasn't seen them already, but I guess everyone has already seen them. Like you can see on some landing pages Facebook pixels present, Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, Hotjar tracking codes, as well as Taboola pixels. So basically, these are generally pixels that are set at the head of the page, so that they track the visit, or they start tracking before the page even has started showing. So it's all it happens in the time that it matters. And when it comes to cleaning out the landing pages, you may have already heard that some people tend to hide their malicious scripts or traffic stealing scripts inside of jQuery libraries or known libraries. So as a best practice, it is always suggested to replace all the libraries or all the JavaScript libraries which are publicly available with publicly hosted versions of these libraries, either it being a JavaScript jQuery file, or either it being a Bootstrap CSS or JavaScript file. Whatever it is publicly available, it is always it is always suggested to replace them with those versions. Also, we need to carefully check for custom JavaScript files, and often we may see them present on landing pages that have those show hide div elements, where without leaving the page, the visitor is presented with several questions which have the purpose of engaging the visitor with the page and making them feel familiar with what we have to offer, and like asking them for his preferences before showing him the call to action. So in those situations, those JavaScripts not always, or those JavaScript files are not always malicious or not always show signs of bad scripts or stuff like that. However, it is important for us to check them and make sure that we don't have any any links, or we don't have any obfuscated codes inside those files, because it may quite often happen that those unknown parts, or those sneaky pieces of code that we find on those files are going to damage our campaign performance, and therefore force us to improperly optimize our campaigns. Also, quite often it happens with sweepstakes landing pages, where we have time and date leftovers, or dynamically inserted variables, like the location, like the device type, device brand, date of the day when the visitor visited the page. So if we have this type of leftovers from the previous landing page, it is always good to check how the page looks, and we don't have duplicate dates or duplicate components injected on our landing page, because by the end of the day, it will look bad to the visitor, and it will decrease the credibility of our offer, or of our landing page and the offer behind it. Also, we would need to always check any externally linked images, and that can be quite easily when you see the code. You will notice that a specific image is linked on an external link, like the previous owner of the landing page. And what we want to do is that we want to get that image and host them on our Lander directory to make sure that we change the path of that page, or sorry, of that image, to link to our own image. This way we avoid sending any traffic requests to the server or to the host of the previous owner of the landing page, as well as make sure that it doesn't become a bug hole in our landing page that could potentially steal our traffic. Also, something I was discussing with someone today is is the base 64 encoded content, like images, where some people tend to hide content, and or tend to hide scripts that could potentially steal your traffic. So in that case, even when you have base 64 encoded images, it's always best to check those images and make sure you replace them with file based images, or at least recreate the base 64 encoded content and paste it on your Lander. Here are a few examples, like when you go to landing pages, and let me make some annotations here. All right, so here we go. So let's say this is a part of the code that you see on the landing page, and in order to make sure that you're not using any jQuery files which are which are already compromised, that could be a potential issue for your campaigns. What we do is we basically change these versions of the jQuery and Bootstrap JavaScript files with the publicly hosted versions of these files. So basically, we replace these scripts with these new ones, and we make sure that that our visitors, when they browse our pages, they will get to or they will be served with publicly available or official versions of these JavaScript libraries. Also, something that you may notice on some cases is that some pages don't even need this type of JavaScript libraries, especially if we're talking about simple responsive landing pages where we don't have any fancy functions on the landing page. So it's always good to test the landing page without even having those type of libraries, because by the end, it may result that your landing page will gain better performance because it has less files to load. Also, we can get various versions of these files on publicly available repositories, like Google hosted libraries, or even CDN libraries like CDN.js and stuff like that. So it's quite easy to find this type of files. It just a Google search will make sure that will give us the proper directory and the proper links on how to get these files linked on our landing page. Also, when it comes to suspicious scripts, or scripts that could be a potential issue for us, I have included a few examples here, like this obfuscated piece of code here, which basically, if we deobfuscate it, we end up with a URL that we end up with a JavaScript function that will basically redirect the visitor to a specific URL after 5 seconds. So here we have the timeout, and here we have the variable which holds our URL that will send the visitors there. So in this situation, it's always good to check out for deobfuscation tools online. There are hundreds of them that are able to make and to reverse or show the original code of this piece of code, even though there are some developers or there are some programmers who like to double obfuscate or double to repeat the process more than once, and it may become with different tools, which may become quite difficult for some tools to deobfuscate the code. However, as long as your landing page looks okay and it looks the same like it's supposed to look like, you're good to remove any pieces of code that don't affect the main functionalities of a landing page. Also, this is another example I found uh, on some forums that people use to redirect the traffic. Also, here is another example of base64 image with JavaScript redirects, holding JavaScript redirects, which can become an issue for your campaigns and for your landing pages. Moving forward, the best thing that we can do when working with landing pages and when cleaning them out is to check the landing pages before sending any traffic to them. And by that, I mean the checks are pretty simple. We can use developer tools on Google Chrome or whatever browser you are using. Simply check the preserve log on your browser to make sure that it holds the logs and it keeps you the log of the files that it accessed, and make sure that you don't have any external domains in the domains where the landing page is loading its files. Now it may happen that you have uh, spotted some Facebook pixels and some Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics codes on the landing page. And when you're loading the landing page, it still shows you the URLs. However, you can quite easily verify if the landing page is holding or is still containing those tracking scripts, so that you make sure that you're not building up an audience for your competitor or the guy that owned the landing page earlier, and verify that those pixels or tracking codes are not there. Also, if you're using landing pages, especially on POPs that may contain some automatic redirect features, which basically redirects the visitor to a destination, to the offer page or to another offer after a certain amount of seconds. You can always do a simple test, like simply leave the page open for 1, 2, or 3 minutes, or even 5 minutes, and make sure that the page isn't going anywhere. Like it's not redirecting anywhere in any strange URL that you don't know, or any offer that you don't own. So if that's the case, it's just a simple test to do. So this way you won't have to make a lot of efforts, even if you're just starting out to handle and manage your landing pages on your own. Of course, everything will be much easier once you start getting your hands dirty with landing page cleaning, and you get familiar with the codes and stuff like that. Also, when it comes to optimization, and I just received an email from one of our users, which asked me to mention this type of optimization stuff, and I would like to thank him. Uh, what is important when it comes to optimizing our landing pages is that we want to have those landing pages already enabled gzip content compression feature, which is usually used by many server systems, or even Amazon Cloudflare or CloudFront or whatever other hosting services, and that basically compresses our content and makes sure that it's delivered on the lowest size possible. Also, leverage browser caching of the static content. Make sure that we deliver all the pages using all our contents using HTTPS, as well as minify any JavaScript, CSS, or HTML component of our landing page. And hopefully, while using LanderLab, all these type of optimizations are built in on the platform. So for whatever landing page that you are going to push out and publish, you will have all these features already enabled on the landing page. And what you're left to do on the manual side is that you will need to clean out the code or check out the code for any dirty scripts or any improper codes that might uh, put your traffic at risk. Use properly sized images. Like if you're going to add an image of let's say 600 pixels by 300 pixels, you don't need to use uh, a, a full high definition image like 100 and 1920 pixels by 1080. You can always resize that image and make sure that you're using an approximate size, as well as when you resize it, that image, or for whatever image that the landing page you're going to put on the landing page, always compress those images using image compression tools, which are widely available online. Like you can use kraken.io, or you can use optimizilla.com or .net, if I'm correct. So always use those type of image compression tools to make sure that your images are lightweight and they don't affect the page loading speed. Because from experience, we've seen that the slower the landing page loads, the more the visitor gets bored, and harder it is, the lower are the chances of that visitor to convert to our offer. So always do this type of optimizations in order to make sure that you're getting most out of your traffic. And also some built-in features that come with LanderLab are some functionalities that many people use on their landing pages. Like you can dynamically insert content on the landing page. Like if you want to customize the or to show dynamically the city, the device brand, the device type, the device model. If you want to show the region, or you want to show another, like the IP address, you can basically dynamically insert this type of content on your landing page using using dynamic placeholders, which I will show you in a bit. So if you're using Google, if you're using Facebook to track your audience and you want to pixel your audience, or if you're using Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager, without having to go and place the whole code on the page or on the page header, you simply need to add the Facebook pixel ID. You simply need to add the Google Analytics ID, property ID, as well as Google Tag Manager container ID. Also, when running aggressively, where you want to add some entry and exit pop messages to your landing page, you can always do them by just going to the Lander settings, which I will show you in a bit. You can specify the link of the back button, and you can specify as well auto redirect timeout when you want to redirect the visitor to the offer page, or you want to redirect the visitor somewhere using after a certain amount of seconds. Now, I will go through a live example of cleaning out the landing page. I haven't picked anything specifically because I wanted to do the live with a landing page directly imported from Atlexity. Like we do a simple search, we specify or choose the page, then we go back to LanderLab and edit all the code and make all the needed changes to make sure that our landing page looks all fine, and we can safely and reliably push the landing page on live and push it to our tracker. So give me just a second to switch the share. So I will do the whole screen right now. And here we are. I have a question from Jordan. Any plans on implementing LanderLab with Anstrax? Up until now, we haven't discussed that yet, but we are more than open to talk with Anstrax, and why not make LanderLab available on their platform too, to have their users manage their landing pages easily. As you already know, LanderLab is still on its late beta version, so we have still a lot of things to add. Like it's becoming better and better each day. But pretty soon, I guess we will have the ability to import lenders from other spy tools as well, and offer the ability to have them and host them from LanderLab. Now, I have Adplexity opened here already, and let me move this down a bit. So we have I have chosen the native platform and the mobile platform. Like, we can either go for a sweepstakes, usually used on pop type of landing page, or we may usually, or we can go for a native advertising type of landing page, which I see that is gaining more traction lately, and could help a lot of native guys which are skipping on landing pages because they're simply lazy. Also, there's one thing I want to mention, that some offers come with landing pages or pre-sales on the offer link, and if you're promoting that type of offer, those type of offers, it's better to get the landing page on your own, even though similar from the one that the network uses, because it helps them to better convert the visitors that you are sending, as well as narrow down the total amount of traffic handled by the offer page. And if you're going to use your own landing pages, you're still helping them to narrow down the total amount of traffic and lower their operational costs on the server side, and gain the advantage of having more data to optimize your campaigns. Because these are two sides which are, or the optimization side is pretty important when it comes to using the landing page, because you don't have to wait for a conversion to happen. Rather, use your landing page click-through rate as an initial metric to do the optimization. So let's go and check some offers here, or check some ads. So this one looks to be running for at least 280 days. Let's see some other pages, like there are these gaming pages or Mucus offers. Let's see some crypto offers. This one here. So if we go and check out the landing page, we will see that the landing page is on a specific link here. Hopefully I don't have any issues with internet connection. All right, Perplexity seems a bit slow at the moment. Oh, it could be me. So, all right, let's check this landing page, what it looks like. All right, this looks good. Let's open the landing page. All right. This is one of the landing pages. We have lots of links and lots of stuff. Most probably not all the landing pages will have the hidden links or the the sneaky redirect stuff on it. So we might as well check out what's happening. Also, this newsletter, I will need to check the code for this. And here we get redirected to the same click URL, and here we might have some JavaScript handled click links. So let's import this first. I'm just going to import this on LanderLab by clicking on Import to LanderLab, which sends me to this new page. And here I'm logged in at my account, so it is crypto Adplexity Live cleanup. This way I can easily spot the landing page from the other pages. Now, for now, I can specify the domain here that I have already connected on my LanderLab account. However, I would like to specify the domain later and make sure to publish the page to publish the page later. Yeah, I have a correction, which is Casino. However, I have the impression that this type of landing pages or casino offers all tend to go on a call center, which will still ask the converters that if they want to participate to a betting or binary option offer. So now LanderLab is importing the landing page. So it comes from a zip file as imported from Perplexity. So this way you don't have to download it locally, upload it manually. So it's something that goes directly from Perplexity to LanderLab. So now we can go to the landing pages, and here I have the Casino landing page. Now here I have a few options. I can edit the properties, I can clone the landing page, I can open the editor, I can publish the landing page. Also, I can delete the landing page or add it to my tracker. Now, before being able to add the landing page to my tracker, I will need to publish the landing page first. But before doing that, I would like to open the editor of the landing page. So now we will go on the visual editor of the landing page and make sure that we see the landing page working properly. And now seems to have some trouble with this landing page. So on the code side, we have some stuff. Like maybe we can remove this and see how the landing page behaves. All right, let's save the landing page and return back to it. So we still have the preview of the landing page. And if you happen to land into this type of issues, it could be most probably that the landing page is generated or is built using some non-standard sections. So getting back to the code, which is the main focus of today's webinar, is that we have these JavaScript pieces of code which will show the visitors the city. Like here, as you can see, on success function location, and on error undefined for, and stuff like that. So basically, we don't need this this type of code here. So we can safely remove it. So we don't need this type of code here, and we can easily save the page and see what happens. Also here we can go to the files, and if it's not working as it should, we can always go to the landing page, get the source code of the landing page, copy it, and I'm just improvising now, and paste the code manually. Let's see what happens. If this doesn't work, we can always change the landing page and make sure we are using a landing page that that will work for us. So while it is being saved, I will check out and see if I can get some other landing pages, maybe going for some lead generation offers, which I think are pretty hot already and still working. So, yep, let's check this while it's being saved. And we can import another landing page. Let's do an insurance landing page. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them on the on the Zoom room, chat room, or on Facebook where we are live. Make sure to ask your questions. So here we have this landing page about about life insurance or Medicare supplemental plan. So here it is showing my my region, as I'm currently in northern Italy, and it's showing the headline. So we have the dynamic content insertion. Now, what we want to do here is that we want to make this still available and use our trackers data. So let's do this this landing page in order to show you an example on how to dynamically insert content on the landing pages. We have a clean version of this landing page, but we will go through 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 one here. I see Harvey raised his hand. Not sure if he has any questions or. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so that I can this way I can move forward. So I'm moving away from that landing page for now and doing this. So we will go through the same process. Life insurance, clean up, next, and let's go through the cleaning process. All right. If you hear some kid noises in the background, it's my small nieces. As you might understand, it's a lockdown situation, so we are forced to, or we have no other options rather than doing these webinars at home, because we can't reach out the office. Now, as you may see here, the first thing that happened when we imported a landing page from Perplexity and opened the landing page in an editor, we are getting asked if we want to replace our links. So basically, the LanderLab will automatically detect any links or outgoing links on the landing page and make sure to replace those links with your own tracker link. Now, for this demo, I will use BMOB Tracker because I have a free account with them, and the logic works the same. So it's not that we're going to have any issues with that. Oops. All right, so here we go. I will just get my BMOB link here, my BMOB click link here, and make sure that we use that as our click link. So here it is. I'm just copying it and going back to LanderLab. So I will replace with a specific URL, which is my BMOB click URL. Now here, it already changed all the landing page clicks. Also, before moving forward, or let's go to the code cleaning process and then go over the customization, where we remove the Texas here and insert our own dynamic token. So to check out the code, we will need to bring up the code editor and maximize this here to make sure that we are using all the correct or we're making the correct cleanups. So here, for instance, we have a JavaScript function which is for Google Tag Manager, and when you see GTM and some other random numbers here, it means that this is Google Tag Manager pixel, which is inserted in the head section of the page. And this is quite powerful because this allows anyone who owns that Google Tag Manager container, which is present on the page, to inject additional to inject additional codes without even having to touch the script of the landing page. So whenever you see Google Tag Manager, always make sure to remove it. So this way, you're not leaving any room for additional codes to be added to this page. Also, here we have Google Analytics pixel or Google Analytics code. So we will need to add to remove this as well. And we have the anti-flicker snippet, which, if I'm not wrong, this type of snippet belongs to Google Optimize, which allows you to automatically switch or rotate the pages without and make split testing or run some multivariable testing on the landing page. So we're removing that. Also, we have this jQuery file of version 3.1.1. So what we do in this case, we just go to Google and ask for CDN hosted versions, just running a search like this. Whenever possible, I like using Google's available versions of the jQuery, and why not even update it if we're talking about the base library. So here we remove this part and we add the Google hosted version of the JavaScript, and we make sure that we have everything in line. Also, we have this other click tracking script here that we want to remove. So we have the bootstrap.min.js, and if we want to see what's the version of the bootstrap, we can always save the changes up until when we were working, go to files, and open the bootstrap file. So for now, I will check the version. So it's bootstrap version 3.3.7, and I will just do the same and go to the official page of Bootstrap and grab the minified version of Bootstrap from its own provider or public page. So in this situation, I will just remove this script, and I will remove the Bootstrap as well, and I will add this widget as well, because I'm not using them on my current page or on my campaign, so I don't need them to be present on my page. They will just delay my page or influence on my page loading speed. As we see here, we have the locally hosted version that we deleted, and we want to make sure that we're not having any missing files linked to our landing page, because it will result in an error and may delay the loading speed of the landing page. So we remove this and we add the publicly available CDN version of the library. Also, I'm removing the comments here as well. And here we have another script, which is Zoom Analytics in this case. So we're not using it, and we will remove this as well. Also, we have this model title, copy, and stuff like that. I will remove this as well and remove the other comments present on the page, because I just don't need them. Even empty style tags and stuff like that. So here I'm done with my head section when it comes to JavaScript files. Also, I have some CSS here, so I would search for them, .css, and here I have some style sheets. It's bootstrap.min.js, it's bootstrap.min.css, base.css, CSS, and custom.css. Now I will need to check all these files individually to make sure that there is nothing wrong on those files. And usually you may see that those files contain externally linked images when it is the case. So I'm saving it for now, and I will just go to the files individually. I will check the base.css and see if there's anything linked externally. So up until now, we see nothing. So it's all style sheet code that takes care of the responsiveness of the page, as well as where the classes, the style sheet classes are specified. So base.css is fine. The bootstrap.css is something that we need to replace with the official version. So we will get rid of this. I will just delete it and not risk having it present on my page. And we will check also css.css, which specifies the font types used on the landing page. Now we have this font type files available already, and these are linking all to the local or to our Lander hosting container. And we will need to go back to our HTML file and add the Bootstrap version for the CSS to our landing page. We will just go here and search for Bootstrap to easily get to the style sheet, and here it is. I'm removing this and adding the link to the publicly available version and save the changes. And before calling it done, I will need to go over the rest of the page and make sure that we have nothing wrong with our landing page. So here, for instance, we will see that we have this button function that says that uses JavaScript, and it says on click, open window, and it sends the visitor to this address. Now, of course, we don't want to send the visitor to this address, but rather we want to send it to our click URL of our tracker. So we will just copy it and go back to LanderLab and replace it with our tracker click link. So whenever the visitor clicks on this button, they will be redirected to our tracker click link. Getting lower, we will see the page. So we see the advertorials, health insurance, the date, which is not dynamically inserted. We can always change it, like make it to a more recent date. So let's say April 28th, which is today, and our campaign will start getting traffic tomorrow or after tomorrow. Here we have nothing on the span. And here we have the Texas callout, which is a leftover from the previously injected content from the previous page owner. Now here, what we want to do is that we want to remove this and replace it with a placeholder that will allow LanderLab to dynamically insert the location or the region to the landing page. So what we will need to add is double square brackets, region, double square brackets. And this will correspond to the query string parameter on our landing page, which I will go in shortly. But for now, we will just need to add this one. Also, we will need to replace Texas here as well. And to make sure that we're replacing everything related to Texas, we just do a search and ask, yeah, we still have Texas here, and remove it as well. We search again. Sorry, we search again, Texas, and yep, we still have it here, which is on the title. So we can have it specified here as well. And going back to the page content, we will see that from the automatic link replacement that we did when we first landed on the page after importing it on LanderLab, we see that we have our click URL already specified on our landing page. So for all the link clicks, we still have our bmob or click tracker click URL. I'm just copying it to have it present on my clipboard, and see if there is any other buttons like this one, like we did on the first example. So here we will just replace anything inside the brackets. So always make sure you're not removing the quota marks here, because you can break up the code. And getting back here, we have a base 64 image, which is of 0 pixels. Now, we also have an image which corresponds to a file that is called off_i, and this holds a 0 pixel dimension. Now, whenever we have this type of images, when we notice the width and the height is of 0 pixels, it means that those are not going to be rendered on the page, or they will not change anything on the page. And even if we don't have this impression pixel here as a comment, we can always remove this safely and make sure that the page doesn't have them present, so we don't send impression pixels, or we don't send any information to the previous owner of the page. We need to narrow down, to scroll down here, and we see the About Us page, privacy policy, and terms of use. Now, if you're running native traffic, you would need to have these pages linked correctly on real About Us, privacy policy, and terms of use pages. You can easily create a page like that using dummy examples like privacy policy generator, and get it, have it generated here with any of the free privacy policy generators. And you can link those. You can link the actual links of the pages here, but for now I'm leaving it to our click tracker. And here we have some other codes or some other JavaScript present in our landing page. Now here I want to remove this notice script because I don't need it. It's not mine and I don't want to use it. And we have this long script, which I think is related. Yep, it should be related with the cookie policy acceptance functionality. So I will just remove this all because it won't change how my page will look like. I would remove the add this widget JavaScript that we removed earlier from our list of files. And we have here modal content button and stuff like that, which we're not using a model on our landing page. And I'm going to remove this this JavaScript as well, because it's not a main or a core functionality of my landing page. Now here, I think I have removed everything. Like you can change the page, let's say LanderLab.io, all rights reserved, and remove the address because we don't want to use someone else's address and get someone else in trouble. It's enough that we borrow the landing page from them and we can use it for our needs. So we hit on Save Changes, and our page should have the changes that we wanted. Now here, you may notice that the region placeholder came automatically because I did that on our code editor. Also, we can do it manually here. So if we need to make any changes here, we can always do it like this. And to make this feature work, what we need to do now is that we need to go to the Lander settings and enable this functionality here. Let me highlight it for you just a moment. So we need to enable this feature here, because when having this feature enabled, it will be LanderLab will be able to do the dynamic insertion of the content on the landing page. Now we simply click on enable dynamic tokens. We can remove the dynamic token from a title to make sure that it doesn't show strangely. And here we can check out or we can change the fav icon of the landing page. We can add a list of keywords whenever we want to do that, or we can add the description of the page. We can select some Google fonts if we want to change those. We can upload or add custom style sheets. We can add custom JavaScript libraries. And here, as I mentioned earlier, we have the list of, and we can specify the entry pop messages like, welcome to our fast landing page, and an exit pop message like wait, don't leave. And if we want to, and this will show on mouse out of the landing page or when the page will close. But for this example, I will just leave it on the mouse out. You can specify a back button redirect, even though not 100% compliant with major or main native ad networks. The time to redirect as well is something that falls under aggressive tactics of your campaigns. So better be conservative with using these two features unless you're running on pop traffic. And here you can specify the number of seconds. And here you can add any custom code, like if you want to add any Hotjar scripts or um, specific tracking platform scripts that you may be using. You can paste them here if those need to be added on the head section, or if those scripts need to be present on the body section, like before the end of the body tag, you can paste them here. And here is where you specify the Facebook Pixel ID, Google Tag Manager container ID, and Google Analytics property ID. So we hit save, and we save the page as well. And we can easily now preview the page and see how it looks. So here is the welcome message, like welcome to our fast landing page that we specified earlier. And this is usually useful on pops and is used to bring up the page to a higher level in a stack of pages. So here we have the region, and if we do, yeah, whenever we go out of the page, we get this message, wait, don't leave. So if we add question mark region equals California, it will replace the parameter here with California. Like we will have it automatically replaced on all the sections where we specify our landing page our dynamic placeholder. Now here, one check that we would like to do is to see the network list of our landing page. So let's do a refresh of it. And we have the custom.css, which is not loading and is not available. Now we want to get rid of this because this may influence the performance of our landing page. So we go back to LanderLab, open the code editor, maximize it, and we search for custom.css. And this file here seems not to be present, so we are safe to remove it. Let's save the landing page and regenerate the preview. All right. Once again, let's clear the cache here, and let's check it once again. So here we have nothing. Oh yeah, we have this injected. Oh, this comes from my one of my browser extensions. So always check or hover the name to see where it comes from. So here, if you see it, when I hover on this, it's Chrome extension, and data layer, which is Chrome extension, and stuff like that. So here we have the externally loaded your content, which is Bootstrap, jQuery, that were used by from which we are using the public versions. So up until now, our page looks all fine, and we're good to go with publishing it. So I have already saved the landing page, and I'm going back. So let me call the landing page here insurance. And what I will do now is that I will publish this landing page. So to do it, I will just go to edit and specify the domain, or do it while publishing it. So I can go to publish, select the domain, select the subdomain, insurance, sorry, insurance, and specify the path. So this page is clean, and hit on publish. Once the page is published, I will be able to see the landing page from the published URL. And let's refresh the page here, just to make sure that the status has changed. Yep, here is the page. I'm clicking on the URL, and it has the entry pops. Now I might remove them if I don't need them. So the page is opening pretty well, and if I'm going to BMob, I would like to push this page to my landing pages list. So without having to go to BMob and create the landing page like new, add the landing page, add the URL and stuff like that, I can do it from LanderLab. So here I can go to more options, add to tracker, and add the landing page. So life insurance cleanup, let's add something more like live example. As a comment, we can specify the number of offers here, as well as we would like to add the query string parameters, which is region, which matches equally or exactly the placeholder that we used. And we can tell, or we can specify the tracking token of the region from LanderLab. So in this case, region equals country, or if I'm seeing it right, we have country and we have city. So for US traffic, it will be applicable with country because it will show the region. We click on add to tracker, and if we go to our BMob, refresh the list of landing pages, we will see that the new example that we just created is added here. If we edit the landing page, we have the region already specified, so we can move forward and create our campaign. So let's say we want to create a new campaign. We specify the traffic source to be none in this case because it doesn't matter. And in the flow, we add a landing page like live example, and we add an offer, which is LanderLab offer. Live test. We hit on save, and we are good to go with browsing our offer. So if I get the campaign URL and I go to the offer, I will land on the page. Here, I will click on the options and I will go to LanderLab. So easy as that. I know that for some of you guys, it might be a bit confusing, especially if you're not taking care of landing page coding or you're not dealing with landing pages on your daily basis. It can be a bit confusing at the beginning. However, once you get familiar and you get used to dealing with landing pages, you will find it quite easily to clean them out and have them made by yourself and do the customizations that you want, because sometimes it's easier to do it yourself rather than make someone understand what type of changes and how you want those changes to look like. So this is all for today. I hope I was clear enough, and I hope you found this demo helpful. If you have any questions, please make sure to write it in the chat or in the comments on our social links. Let me check if we have any questions up until now. No. Let me see. Because we're live on some various placements, and I want to make sure that we are able to answer all the questions that we're getting. All right, so Facebook started showing me the news, which I don't want to see now. All right, Robert, Hi. So, what happened in the first Lander you tried? What about combining JavaScript and CSS? And so the first Lander that I tried, and this has happened to us uh, a few times, is that some Landers have some code structures which are not 100% compliant with the visual builder. So for security reasons, if a landing page is not getting rendered and it requires some JavaScript present in the landing page to be properly rendered, the visual builder won't render the landing page because uh, we we want to make sure that nothing fishy or nothing malicious is being rendered from our platform. In case you fall in such situations, simply send us a copy of a zip copy of the landing page, and our devs will take a look at that and make sure that the landing page is correctly showing, and why not even clean it for you for free. And I have a question about combining JavaScript and CSS, which I don't fully understand. Can you please elaborate it a bit and help me understand what you mean by that? I don't even see the name here. If you're asking if you can combine JavaScript and style sheets, I mean to use the code in the header that combines them. You cannot mix JavaScript and style sheet codes in one file, I guess, unless it's under a specific JavaScript code. Also, if you're looking to combine or to add the style sheet on the header of the page, simply open the editor, and if you want to move the style sheet from a file to the code, you can simply copy the code. Let me go over an example like this. So I'm copying all of this. Sorry, I'm copying all of this. Go to the landing page. Inside the head tag, I will open the style tag and close it. And I can paste the style sheet in here and remove the CSS from the CSS file. It will work the same, it will just be embedded. So here I can preview the page and it's loading the same. And when it comes to making it responsive, it's still responsive. Not necessarily. It's not necessarily a must as long as the files are lightweight. Somewhere is suggested to embed the style sheet on the head section of the page, but I'm not. I don't think it will bring too much of the difference when it comes to the to the page loading speed, because the page already loads quite fast. And if we want to do a live test of the landing page, let's do it. Let's first remove the entry pop, because I think that will influence on the page loading speed, especially on the first content. So let's remove this and hit save. All right, the page is saved, and it should take a few minutes for the page to to remove it from the cache. However, we can go here and use GTmetrix and do a live test of the page. Google page speed, which shows some interesting insights as well. And we can go for pingdom tools, which, yep, pingdom tools to see what's the performance of our landing page. And let's do some Europe location. Now, GTmetrix shows us AA results, like we are 98% out of 100 on the page speed score, and Y slow score is 97%, which is quite amazing. Like we see, we have all of the testers marked as green. When we go to Google page speed, we have a 97 score out of 100. And 100 on the desktop version. And here on Pingdom tools, we are still of grade A and 209 milliseconds of loading speed. Now, this is pretty much what every one of us running traffic is looking for, because as you can see, the page size is pretty small. I have a question about the tracker redirect speed. I haven't actually done a test of that type my own, because I haven't run any significant amount of traffic recently, because I've had pretty busy schedule taking care of daily stuff about the optimizer and LanderLab. However, I think there are some case studies about that, and when it comes to the redirect speed, I think DNS is quite important in terms of latency or response latency, and allow you to load the page pretty quickly. Anyways, with the current state of all the trackers in the market, whether it is Red Track, whether it is BMob, Volume, Funnel Flux, Thrive Tracker, or whatever click tracker which is mainstream and is widely known, is something that you won't get any noticeable difference in terms of redirect speeds, and you won't spot any difference in terms of conversion rates due to redirect speed. Will LanderLab become a paid tool after leaving the beta? Of course, like as you might imagine, LanderLab currently is offering the hosting resources and all the development hours for free, as we want to make sure that before we send the product, or we move to the paid version of the product, everything is working correctly, and everyone who's interested on working with landing pages and get rid of hosting, server hosting, and server maintenance can play around with LanderLab enough to make sure that it's the right tool for them. And if you're in the affiliate space, I'm pretty sure with how simple the tool is and what functionalities it offers, you can safely ditch any server that you're using and move away even from Amazon S3, where you have to specify some of the stuff or some of the properties of the files manually, and have everything hosted through LanderLab, because basically it is not going to cost a fortune. Like what we plan up until now is like $49 a month, which is a steal for the functionalities that it offers. Because when you go inside of LanderLab, you have hundreds of templates ready to use and clean that you can use for any type of campaign. And this list is getting updated more and more. Like you will see more landing pages over here. So hopefully next week we will go on another example of taking a campaign from scratch, like finding the offer on Spy Tools, setting up the landing page, creating the auto optimization rules from the optimizer, and cover the full process from start to finish, live on a live demo in collaboration with Audacity in order to have and make a live or a full give you a full picture of the process. I have a question for Vasco. Is it possible to export the landers and use your own servers? Currently, it is not, because as you may understand, having the hosting service already built in on our platform gets the hosting covered. Like, you don't need to have it on your own servers. If you want to link something from your servers, or you want to link something from an external server, you can always link them by pasting the code on the script on the page. Yes, we use Cloudflare for the domain management, and for anything like if you want to add subdomains, or if you want to add several Cloudflare integrations, you can do it from here. So here's the domain I have added, and I've used my Cloudflare account in here to do that. So where I've added the API key and my email associated with my Cloudflare account. And on the domain list, I can easily go and manage the DNS records. So if I want to add a new record, let's say a CNAME or an A record or a TXT record, I can do it from here without having to go to Cloudflare. I can see all the CNAMEs, and if I want to add any subdomains, I can do it from here. So let's say live webinar and click on add. It will just create a new subdomain on my Cloudflare account. So this is pretty much straightforward, and that's it, I guess. So this was everything for today, guys. If you have any questions, I will follow through later on Facebook, or you can write us an email at support@LanderLab.io or support@theoptimizer.io. Even if you have any questions regarding auto optimization and creating rules, or want to know more about the optimizer, I will be glad to guide you through a live demo of the platform privately and get to the